When you think of ink, different images probably come to mind. From tattoos to printers, we've got them covered. Beginning with tattoo tales ripped from a night of storytelling. The news press invited people to share the story behind their ink.
I thought for a moment that maybe I should get, you know how Superman, Clark Kent will pull his shirt back and reveal the S? I thought it might be cool if I had my skin peeling back and this big cat was coming out, right? I know, sexy, right?
Then we may be on the cusp of a print revolution. Not papers, but plastics and more. 3D printing comes home. Plus, inking a book deal, the Trump presidency may become a real page-turner. We'll have those stories along with the latest in our Positively Healthy Medical series. I'm Amy Osher, and this is Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. Thanks for joining us. If only tattoos could talk. Their meanings are often a mystery, significant to only the person who wears it. In a night of storytelling, the news press got people to give up their secrets, inviting a half dozen to take the stage and share or bear their stories.
Well, don't let the gray hair and the glasses fool you. I have no words of wisdom, nothing emotional or inspirational to share with you. Seriously, look at me. This gray hair did not come with wisdom or age. It came when I was in my 20s in the form of 2 gray streaks on either side of my head that made me look like the Bride of Frankenstein. And for decades, I cut my own hair because I could not bear to sit for 20 minutes in a chair while some lady cut my hair, and I had to make idle chit-chat. Couldn't do it. And the black t-shirt and jeans I wear to work every day. If I had to decide on a different outfit, I would be 3 days late for work every day. And the black t-shirt is often covered with cat hair. Shocker, cat lady. But I only have 4 of them because my husband does not like cats and they do not like him. So this is me in a nutshell. Socially awkward, introverted, fashion disaster of a cat lady. And if you're thinking my tattoo tail has to do with a cat tramp stamp I got in the late 80s, you'd be wrong. I was not that cool in the 80s. My tattoo tail has to do with a bad font and a Tervis tumbler. Sounds exciting, right? It's not. I used to have words tattooed down my side, and they said, "I am the hero of this story," which I really liked the words. They were great. The problem, however, was with the font. Do you know how like a bad font can ruin your week or your month or even your year? I am the same way. So I had to get rid of this font. And I had to decide on what I should do to cover it up. And I thought for a moment that maybe I should get, you know how Superman, Clark Kent will pull his shirt back and reveal the S? I thought it might be cool if I had my skin peeling back and this big cat was coming out, right? I know, sexy, right? But I would have had to pick just one of my cats to depict, and I didn't want to offend the other cats, make them jealous, so I bagged that idea. As I'm trying to decide what to get, I'm drinking iced coffee out of my Wonder Woman Tervis tumbler. Boom, right there, hit me. Wonder Woman. Still haven't told my mother. My husband and I have never discussed it. He likes tattoos even less than he likes cats. But you know, she's my secret identity. Not like a Bruce Wayne Batman cool secret identity, more like a shoeshine boy underdog kind of identity.
I'm here to talk about the one tattoo on my father's arm. You see, I'm the daughter of a Holocaust survivor. I want to take you back to 1962. That was the year I turned 5 years old, and I'm ready to start kindergarten. Now, back in 1962, when I'm ready to start kindergarten, the only thing we needed to know was our address, our phone number, and some primary colors. You see, it wasn't like today. You didn't have to be a rocket scientist. So I was so excited because I knew exactly where to go. I knew exactly where I could find those numbers. I went running to my father's arm, and I tried to make out those numbers on my father's arm, because as long as I could remember, my father always told me that those numbers on our arm, on his arm, was our phone number, because he could never remember our phone number. So on that day, I ran over and I tried to make out those numbers, because my mom said it was time to learn our phone number. And then all of a sudden, she told me no, that wasn't our phone number. But I kept asking her, Mom, what do you mean? That's our phone number. And I couldn't understand. I was so confused. She says, I'll tell you later. But Mom, those numbers on Honey's arm, what do they mean? What are they? You see, as far as I know, and as long as I can remember, from the day I was born until the day he died, we always called my father Honey. She says, you'll learn someday. Just don't bother Honey about it.
In the walk back from her house to the hostel with my friend, in between saying things to him like, I can't feel my teeth, I remember declaring, ripe fruit attracts by its color. One day, I'm going to get that tattooed on me. It was 2014, and my band, The Young Dead, had just gone on a hiatus. I was working a job that I hated, and I had still not found the ripest fruit. I was still longing for that thing that I could make mine, that I was sure would be mine. What I did know, though, was that Andy was offering free or discounted tattoos for folks who would do some social media management for him. And I had just gotten into the field, so I thought this was a great gig for me. Well, after a couple small tattoos from Andy, I decided it was time for something bigger. I was going to get my biggest tattoo to date, and I finally found the artist that I wanted to do it. And I knew a couple things going into it. I knew that I wanted it to be a larger upper arm piece that covered about half of my arm. I knew that I wanted it to have fruit in it that changed color when it ripened. And I knew that I wanted the words frutta matura attire per il suo colore, or, translated from Italian, ripe fruit attracts by its color. Now, if you haven't guessed, I am first-generation Italian-American. And it's pretty important to Italian people, you know, to hang on to that heritage, as is for most. And so, you know, it made sense for me to put the words in Italian, for it to be mine and really make an impact on me.
After we got back home, Scooter started to age even more. She didn't really care about going out on our afternoon walks, so not too many barks to go out. And then she started to go off for food. And I asked Chuck if he wanted to put her down, and he said no, he wanted her to die at home. And I was good with that. A couple days later, I had just went into bed, and I heard Scooter bark twice. Sensing that something was wrong, I went into the living room, and I saw her, and I asked her if she was cold. I grabbed a towel from the linen closet, and I wrapped her up, and I held her close, and I told her that she was a great dog and that I loved her. And within 5 minutes, she was gone. Now, my housemate Chuck is 77 years old. He has never had a tattoo and swore he would never get one. 3 days after Scooter passed, he and myself and our friend Crystal went and got the pie tattoo. Now, for other people, pi may represent the measuring for the circumference of a circle. But for us, pi is the symbol of love that we have eternal for this dog. Scooter was my role model, and she was, Scooter was my hero and my role model. She taught me how to accept without condition and to love unconditionally. We proudly wear this tattoo for our hero and our dog, for a love eternal. Rest in peace, Scooter.
The invention of the printing press was a huge step forward in technology. Transferring ink to reproduce text is considered one of the most influential events in modern history. Nowadays, 3D printers are being used to make everything, from clothes to houses, prosthetic limbs, and more. A Naples business showed us their blueprint for success.
So the technology side of it has been out for a really long time. Stereolithography is like literally, it was 35 to 40 years old. But with the advent of open source technology right now, 3D printing has actually become affordable to the average consumer. It's not quite like a prosumer level where you can take this thing out of the box and make wonderful stuff with it. It's still kind of something you have to tinker to make work, but it's something that should be noticed, and you'll see it, and the age of the Jetsons is it's on its way. 3D printing is additive, so you start with actually nothing. So you have an empty build plate, and essentially what happens is layer per layer, it builds a pattern, and that pattern turns into a 3D object. The Smithsonian actually has a library that you're actually able to download some of the ancient artifacts. They actually just released the T-Rex skeleton here. So one of our near plans is to print a full-size T-Rex skull.
Now this is, you said, one of the larger size of 3D printers?
Yeah, there's some that are massively larger, and they are big enough to print like a full house. There's one in Japan that's doing a bridge right now.
What kinds of things could you use it for? Okay,
so this printer was actually designed for one idea in mind. We printed it with basically a removable bed. And this is normally a very expensive part on a 3D printer. This actually prints concrete forms. So essentially, if we were doing like a capital restoration for like a historical district or something that had historical significance that you don't want to necessarily move or take out of place, this allows us to print a mold for that.
To fix buildings or broken parts or things like that?
Broken buildings, broken statues, anything that's really, really large. This is like a computer, way back when, or a color copier, or something of this nature, where it's out of reach right now for certain people just because the technology, the software hasn't caught up with the hardware yet. It's not quite, easy to use for everybody, but it's definitely going to be something that we adapt our lives to.
Still ahead, marijuana dispensaries making house calls. The story is up after the break.
Life here is amazing, and so is the joint care. At the Total Joint Center at Physicians Regional Healthcare System, we've changed the experience of joint replacement for good. With our comprehensive joint care program, most hip and knee replacement patients return home in just 2 days, because we know you want to get on with your active life. Pain-free living starts at Physicians Regional Medical Center, Collier Boulevard, and Physicians Regional Medical Center, Pine Ridge.
Hiring the right moving company is important. Best Moving and Storage is a family-owned and operated business serving Southwest Florida for over 22 years. From our free in-home estimate until the last piece of furniture is in your new place or stored in our climate-controlled warehouse, we treat you like family. Best Moving and Storage is fully licensed and insured, with all of our employees being certified drivers and packers. When it comes to protecting your treasured belongings, choose a company that's experienced and trustworthy. Call Best Moving and Storage today at 239-592-6565.
Is your auto insurance keeping pace with your life? Ask for a AAA Triple Check Insurance Review to see if your current policy is still a good fit. An agent will assess changes in your life, like new vehicles or drivers. Make sure you've got the right coverage and all the discounts you deserve. They'll also see how a AAA membership can round out your protection on the road. Plus, provide roadside assistance, discounts, free services, and vacation extras. Ask for your AAA Triple Check today.
While it won't replace getting a full skin exam from your doctor, experts have put together an easy primer to help you look for potentially problematic moles. They say it's as easy as ABC. Here's the latest in this week's Positively Healthy Report. One of the first things we learn in preschool is our ABCs, and doctors say a lesson in letters will also serve you well in detecting dangerous moles.
The ABCs are things that you want to look for at home when you're checking your skin.
A board-certified dermatologist, Dr. Jacqueline Thomas, helps her patients identify trouble spots. Contrary to what you learned in school, an A is not a desirable grade.
So A is asymmetry. If it's asymmetric, you need to be concerned about that, get it checked out. If it's symmetric, that's usually a good sign.
The outline of a mole can also be telling.
B stands for borders, so if you have a scalloped border or you can't quite tell where the lesion starts and stops on your skin, that's generally not a good sign. You want to get that checked out. If you have an even, perfectly round border, generally that's an okay sign.
The letter C refers to color. Being colorful may be ideal for some things, but not when it comes to skin growth.
Normal things are usually just one color, but if you start to get multiple colors, you may want to get that checked out too.
The new ads are D and E. Both provide opportunities to give you a better read.
D stands for diameter, so something that's larger than a pencil eraser is usually a little bit concerning. That's not to say that things can't happen if they're smaller than that, but if they're bigger than that, it's usually a bad sign. And then E stands for evolving, and that's something that you should know your skin better than your dermatologist. You should know if something's changing or evolving over time. If something starts out flat and then it becomes raised, that's evolving. If it develops symptoms, itching, bleeding, something where it's not the way that it once was, we get concerned about that.
Any new mole should get your attention. Spotting skin cancer early greatly increases the likelihood that it can be successfully removed, eliminating the mole and the danger it presents. Just because medical marijuana is legal in the state of Florida doesn't mean it's easy to come by. Many local communities are banning dispensaries, making the drug difficult to get. Frank Gluck with the News Press reported on how this is leading to house calls, legally operating dispensaries delivering med marijuana directly to patients with prescriptions. This delivery option is now big business.
Delivery is a huge aspect of our business. We deliver to every part of the state. We have people that aren't able to leave their homes, so that's one reason they get it delivered. And we have others, it's just the convenience, because, you know, again, because of the moratorium, they may not live within an hour distance of a home. We want to make sure it's in a safe environment. We don't want to put anybody in harm's way. Certain people don't want it delivered at home because they don't want their neighbors knowing about it, but we will deliver pretty much any place.
I haven't taken pain medication in probably 5 years, so I've been kind of living with my pain. When this became available, why not try it? And when I tried it, it worked. But I want people to know that there's an alternative to pain medication. I'm not saying it works on everybody. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I know it works on me.
I was actually the victim of a crime. It was a pretty bad incident. I actually almost lost my life. I went into a coma for a month and a half. Since that point, actually waking up from my coma, I suffered from PTSD really bad. I went to therapists and, you know, they always prescribed me some type of pill medication. It never really worked. If anything, it either turned me into a zombie or made my situation worse. The lack of sleep was also affecting just my energy during the day. Me and the doctor talked about the issues, what I was suffering from. Since using this, I've had a complete change.
The stories that you hear, how it's helping people and what it's doing for them, it's changed their lives. It does wonders, and it just makes a difference.
On the business side of things, delivery drivers only accept cash and always have 2 people in the vehicle to guard against theft. Their cars are also equipped with cameras. You can check out the full story by logging on to news-press.com. Here's a look at a few more stories we're covering on The Beat.
Thanks, Amy. Hi, I'm Shelby Reynolds. I'm a features reporter at the Naples Daily News. In tomorrow's paper, you'll find that Naples will appear on another HGTV show. This will be the second time that Heather Kane, a realtor here in town, will appear on a House Hunters episode with a couple looking for a new home here in Southwest Florida. So in tomorrow's paper, you can find the details about when the episode airs or online at naplesnews.com. And come back on Saturday because I'll have a story about what happened on the show.
Hi, I'm Ashley Collins. I'm a reporter with the Collier Citizen. This past week I jumped on a jet boat provided by Pure Florida for our next hashtag Live Southwest Florida. This is a 24-passenger jet boat that goes up to 35 miles per hour down Naples Bay to Dollar Bay, all the way towards the 10,000 Islands, part of the Rookery Bay Natural Estuarine Reserve. And it was pretty amazing to see all the wildlife, the mangroves, the dolphins, the ospreys. And you also get pretty soaked because it not only glides down the bays, but it also does 360 turns, which is pretty incredible. For more on this story and to see a video, visit naplesnews.com.
I'm Harriet Heithouse, arts and entertainment writer for the Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com. Easter is on my mind today for two reasons. First, we have a story today on things to do after Easter. Our Stay in May festival in Naples is coming up. The second is a visit to a pisanka decorating class, the intricate art of making Ukrainian Easter eggs. We see how it's done on Monday in the Naples Daily News and naplesnews.com.
Our final stop is Brent Batten joining us with his weekly commentary. Brent.
Thanks, Amy. This is the time of year I'd normally be telling you how bad my NCAA men's basketball bracket is doing. I'd lament how the teams I picked to go far in the tournament choked, and how the teams I thought had no chance were the Cinderellas of the ball. Just my luck, I'd say. I'd throw in some self-deprecating stuff about how I have a better chance of being hit by space debris than I do of winning the office pool. But not this year. This year is different. Not because my picks are any better than usual, but because everybody else's picks are so much worse. I'm guessing no one picked UMBC to beat Virginia before last Friday. Come to think of it, I'm guessing no one knew what UMBC stood for before last Friday. And Loyola Chicago in the Sweet 16? I doubt if even Sister Jean Dolores Schmidt dared to pray for such a miracle. So my bracket, while wrecked, is no more wrecked than most people's. I've still got 3 of the 4 teams alive for the Final Four, and both of my contenders for the championship are still playing. That's the good news. The bad news? I still have a better chance of being hit by space debris than of winning the whole thing. I saw a headline the other day. China's Tiangong space station is expected to crash soon. Naples lies smack in the middle of its potential path. Its estimated arrival date, April 2nd, the same day as the NCAA championship game. Just my luck. I'm Brent Batten. Be sure to read my columns on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays in the Naples Daily News. Check me out on Facebook, and as always, thanks for watching.
Coming up, honing the art of storytelling. It's now a popular form of entertainment as people shed their inhibitions and speak out. That's ahead on Behind the Headlines.
The area's only 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting for the care you need. And because we're full-service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. Only at Physicians Regional Healthcare System.
My name is Steve Unser, and cabinetry is my specialty. I have been creating custom-designed cabinetry for 20 years in Southwest Florida. And now I am celebrating the grand opening of our new Naples showroom. Steve Unser Cabinetry will help you design your kitchen, bath, or home office with stunning results, offering the best quality of cabinets with a wide variety of design options and pricing to fit any budget. If your kitchen isn't becoming to you, you should be coming to us. Now 2 locations to serve you.
It takes a lot of nerve to get up in front of a crowd of people and tell a story. Truth is, this new trend in night out is one of the oldest forms of entertainment.
It is right that you should admire these men and respect what they wrought, but take care not to make of them wooden idols.
Janina Bertolo brings history to life every time she takes the stage. Dressed as an historical figure, she's treating this crowd to Abigail Adams, giving a first-hand account of the Revolutionary War.
Rather than just doing, hi, I was born, I did this, I died, I try to find the lesson from their lives that I think is relevant to our lives today.
It's one twist to this age-old tradition, using the spoken word as art, entertainment, and education.
There's something really beautiful about a well-crafted story that comes across that becomes so meaningful and almost unforgettable.
As a soft-spoken young doctor, Joel Ying had a circuitous route into storytelling.
I wanted to do talks around town because I was starting a new practice and I wanted to get new clients, and that's how I ended up in Toastmasters. But I saw a storyteller come to one of the meetings, and for the first time I was just captivated, and I really thought, I want to be able to do that.
So he spent time fine-tuning his craft, looking for an audience and gaining his voice.
One of my stories in particular, I remember working it from every angle. I gave it to several different groups, and one time I worked on vocal variety, and another time I worked on gestures.
Are they kind of morality tales?
Well, they always have a message. They always say something. I have another story that's another folktale called The Man with No Luck, and it's really hilarious, but it's about a man who is completely in luck, and he says, I'm going to go out and I'm going to find God and ask God why I have no luck.
Despite being one of the oldest forms of communication, storytelling is enjoying a rebirth, going from coffeehouse cool to mainstream markets.
When I listen to a storytelling performer really craft their story, they have a message in it that they want to gift me.
The joint activity of giving and receiving speaks volumes.
Storytelling is the shortest distance between two people. It really is about connection.
Finally today, inking a book deal is what many Washington insiders are doing these days, collecting huge advances before the first draft. In case you're a political junkie, here's a few headliners you can look forward to. The president's firing of FBI Director James Comey triggered a special counsel investigation. Comey went on to sign a multi-million-dollar book deal with the book A Higher Loyalty coming out in April. But ahead of its release, the book hit #1 on Amazon based on pre-orders. And this would qualify as the art of the book deal. Former Apprentice contestant turned White House staffer Omarosa Manigault could get as much as $10 million for a tell-all book about Trump, but nothing's been signed. It's also estimated former model Hope Hicks could get $1 million book deal to write about her time as a White House communications director. Going back to the beginning, the president's first press secretary, Sean Spicer, plans to set the record straight with his book due out this summer. And Anthony Scaramucci, who exited the same job after only 10 days, has a book slated for release in the fall. Given the interest in everything Trump, there will likely be many more page-turners to put on your reading list. That's our cue to sign off for the week. Thank you for making us part of your day. You can always catch up on past shows by logging on to naplesnews.com. On the left-hand side under Quick Links, select Behind the Headlines. I'm Amy Osher. See you back here next week.
And I often wear flip-flops everywhere I go, except when I get all dressed up for work and occasions like this. And I put on these closed-toed shoes. Now, if you look at the heel on them, they got to be, what, 4 or 5 inches, right? So I'm feeling like I'm 5'9".